Hey everyone, welcome to the Impact class for today. Super excited that we are starting to do these weekly and I just can't wait to dive into this one. So don't worry, as I go on, I'm actually going to turn the camera around so that you can read this and you can write this down. I just want to make sure that I can see you guys jumping on the lives. So go ahead and comment down below if you guys are watching this, and we are just going to get diving in right away. So give me a wave down in the comments as you guys jump in here. Super excited to just give a ton of value to you guys today. So we got, who do we all got in here? We got a couple people, Ashley, Chris, Gina, Amy. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Give me a wave down in the comments. Gina, thank you so much for the wave. Sierra, good to have you on here. Super excited for this one, guys. Amy, good to have you on here as well. So today's gonna be a really important video here. So Ashley, thank you for the wave. So as I said at the beginning, I'm gonna turn the camera around when we actually wanna do the training part so you guys can actually write this down and you can actually read this. It's not backwards for you guys. And then we'll have a bit of a Q&A at the end of this training. So I'm super excited to start doing these weekly impact classes because this is something I've been missing a ton recently and I'm just so excited to be giving you guys so much value. Ali, good to have you on here. So basically what we're going to be training on today, it's called two things. It's either called the clientele journey or it's called lead nurture. Basically, what we're going to be teaching you guys is how to turn cold new leads into hot leads that are going to be getting on a sales call with you. And basically, we're going to teach you the system, the step-by-step process that turns those cold people into really hot leads. And so I'm super excited for this. And so as you guys pop on here, make sure that you give me a wave. I love the heart button, so make sure you guys are hitting the hearts down below. The more hearts, the better, because when I feel loved, I give way more value in my trainings. Just being selfish here. Isn't that funny, actually? But anyways, so Ben, good to have you on here. So yes, there we go. All right, here we go. I saw some hearts there. So basically what we're gonna do, guys, is in the next about 10 minutes, I'm going to go through this training. I'm gonna turn the camera around, go through this training, hit the heart button whenever you find something that's really like intuitively and really like educational for you guys. And we're just gonna be diving into this. And then at the end, I'm gonna go through a Q&A because some of you will really actually need to get some customization through this. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to make sure I have the right marker. Hey, Eric, good to have you on here. Hope you've been well, my buddy. Hope you've been well, Eric. Hey, David, good to have you on here. So making sure that this is all good. So guys, yo, David. So I'm going to be turning around the camera. I'll be doing the training for 10 minutes. I won't be able to see the screen. So just so you guys can actually see this live, I'm actually going to probably use a little bit to do a bit better job at this. But here we go. So, guys, what we're going to be doing today is basically going from a place where this influx here is cold audience, and we're going to follow the journey to where people actually buy from you and pay you literal dollars. So we're going to go through the clientele journey, as I call it. So as we're going along, I want you to write this down because if you don't write it down, you're probably not going to remember it. If you don't write it down, you're not going to take action on it. Then it's going to be useless. Why would we even be on this training? So let's actually do something that's going to get you results. So now the two kind of boxes I'm not going to go over today are these two. We can do a different training on those sometime if you guys really want. I'll kind of quickly mention them, which is the first one is building your targeted audience, okay? That's what we call BTA, build your targeted audience, because a lot of people, they're marketing organically or even paid to an audience that isn't their targeted audience. So this is just learning how to add, I would say, 10 to 20 people a day into your audience who are targeted people. Like that's just a simple trick to do it. And if you guys really want a training on that, you guys can message me and say you want a training on that or you want help with that for your own business. So that's not what we're going to talk about today, but you have to have the right audience for the nurturing process to work. And so we're going to go through the nurturing process. That's going to be the main training today, but this is necessary. We're just not going to dive into it today. The second part we're not going to dive into is the sales part, actually, because again, we're going to teach you how to turn cold leads into hot leads. We can do another training on sales itself and how to turn hot leads into paying clients. So that being the case, we're going to dive into this today. So Here's what I'm not going to be teaching you to do today. So a lot of business coaches in the past, what they taught you to do is to create content, and the people who like it, you send a bunch of messages to book a sales call. Now, what was wrong with this process is it basically went from number 2, which is engagement, and I'll dive further into this. It went straight from engagement to sales. They tried to short circuit the system by going from engagement to sales. Now, what happened is you're taking, at this point, leads that are barely warmed up a little bit onto a sales call to sell them a high-ticket offer. What they didn't realize is that if they would have taken 2 more steps, and I'm going to teach you these 2 steps, they would have turned it from warm to hot to fiery hot before you get on the sales calls. So I'm not going to be teaching you the strategy because that strategy is outdated, it's old organic, and I'm going to be teaching you the way to actually build a funnel. This is a funnel in essence, because people come through this, they start seeing your content, and you funnel them, you nurture them, they go on the journey, we call it the clientele journey. So the first thing that we need to do is what we call content distribution, okay? Content distribution. So content distribution is basically picking the platform where your ideal clients are going to be on and using that platform to distribute content that's going to get a reaction from your audience, okay? This is really important. It's not as much about getting tons of likes or getting tons of views as it's getting the right reaction from the right audience, okay? So you want to be thinking about reactions from the right audience, okay? Write that down, reaction from the right audience. Now, one of the big things that we talk about a lot is like, how do you produce content that gets a reaction? There's 2 simple ways to go about doing this, because your content, you want to get people engaging with it that are your targeted audience that you've been building. So there's 2 ways to do this. So the first way to do this is to just simply have content that asks questions that are niche specific, okay? So number 1, under this point, or let's do A actually. Let's do A, and then let's do B. So point A is you have to have questions within your content distribution that's niche specific. Because if you never ask your audience any questions, they're never going to give you any answers. What's that? I think there's even like a verse on that, like you have not because you ask not, right? Something like that. And so, number 1, in content distribution, yes, there's great ideas to use your story, use testimonials, provide value, but you have to ask them questions and get them to start react with your post. Because when they start to see your post, they're going to first see, is this interesting? Should I react to this? And if it's niche specific, so you're asking questions specifically for your niche, like, do you struggle with binge eating? And maybe people wouldn't say that, so maybe it's like a question for do you find it hard to work out if you because you're so busy, or something like that, something that's niche specific. You stay at home moms, do you find it hard to put your kids down and have a workout, like something like that. So a question that's niche specific. So you start to get them to react and engage with their content, because when they start to, Facebook thinks that they are affiliated with you, and your content will show up on their feed more often, so they'll see it more often. So your content distribution is becoming more and more omnipresent to them. So that's the first thing, questions. The second thing, B, as far as engagement goes, is creating content that appeals to emotions. Oftentimes, we'll get into the rut of just doing educational content, or content that's value driven but void of emotion. And this is something that again and again, it's great, but you have to have emotional content and you have to have analytical content. So make sure that you're creating emotional content that again is niche specific. Everything is niche specific, okay? Niche specific. So this is the first part of actually having a nurturing process. So you want to have content that grabs people's attentions, which is questions and emotional content, and then once they engage with it, your content distribution is going to be in front of them more often, and they're going to engage with it more often. So that's the first part of the nurturing process. Now I'm going to move through all of these, then I'm going to flip the camera around and you can ask questions and we can dialogue back and forth. So just bear with me as we just run through this. So the second part, this is number 1, 2, 3, is the part of the journey that we call subscribe. Now, subscribe does not just mean emails. Subscribe means you want to get the people that have been engaging and reacting and starting to see your content, you want to give them more free value. So you want to subscribe them to something that you own in a sense, or that's your own, is your businesses. So a couple ideas for this is maybe you have a Facebook group that they can join. Maybe you do have an email list that you send out emails to. Maybe you have an Instagram account that's private, that only exclusive, like people that actually subscribe to it see the content in it. Like it's like a Facebook group but on Instagram, so it's a private account, and you can see who actually gets into it and gets that exclusive content. So you want to have like some exclusivity, something that people can subscribe to, basically just to provide value to. Because again, we want to warm these people up. They've shown an interest in your niche specific questions and emotional response content. And now at this point, you can either, you could post a call to action for them to get into a group, your email list, your Instagram private, or you could reach out to some of these people and just say, hey, I've noticed you've been enjoying my content. I have this free thing, whatever it might be. So you're taking leads that are slightly warming up. Now they're gonna take a small step, okay? Because basically, when someone becomes your follower, it's a really tiny step. Then they start to engage with your content, that's a bit of a bigger step. Now to subscribe to something, it's a yet bigger step. So this is really important, that every single week you're getting people to subscribe to you, what you do, how you teach, your methodologies, starting to get indoctrinated into your system. And so that's the next step. Now, after subscription, lots of people go straight from here to sales, yet I add another piece in here, and I call it the commit stage. Because you want people, beyond a shadow of a doubt, to actually love what you do and to be so nurtured that when you would ask them to get on a call, it's a no-brainer. Because basically what we're building here is we call a value void. Write that down. A value void is when you give so much to someone that they kind of feel indebted to give something back to you. And when you give people so much free value, they're going to want to say, hey, how can I work with you? Hey, I'll totally get on a call with you, whatever it is. So that's what we're creating here. So then the third step here is you want to have a one-on-one communication with people. You could use the messenger for this, you could use email for this, you could use text for this, you could use a bunch of different things, but you want to have one-on-one communication to give them even more customized value. So this could be sending them a message just saying, hey, what is something like that you're struggling with that I can help you with? Sending them a message, a voice message or something like that. So this is where you're after they're really warm, that's when you can go into the messenger, the PM, the DM, and actually provide for them more personalized, okay? Personalized value. That's not a V. Value, okay? And so basically it's going from public value to an exclusive group value to a one-on-one value. And from that point, when they have that value, lots of them will get on a sales call with you. They'll ask for it. And some of them will, you'll just have to reach out and just say, hey, is actually getting a coach or getting a mentor and helping you through something, is something you've been thinking about? Just ask them the question. And if they are, you can book a call, and that's where we get to the sales part. So that is the clientele journey. You become your audience. They see your content distribution, they start engaging, we subscribe them to your system, to your methodology, we get them really committed through some one-on-one personalized help, and then we get them to a place where they can now become a client. You do this, it's a much easier, simpler solution than just straight up cold outreach. So what I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna turn the camera around, because I'm sure you guys have been commenting. Hey, we've got a couple people on here, hope you guys are doing amazing. So, Candace, hope you're doing amazing. Joanna, Angelica, wow, a lot of you guys jumped on here. So, Joe, guys, we got some questions now, I'm sure. Roger, hope you're doing great. Rick, Trevor. Okay, guys, so what kind of questions do you have? Because this process, if you follow it step by step, is going to give you exactly what you are looking for. So I'm just going ahead and just saying hi to everyone that's jumped on here. Hope you guys are doing great. So basically, I want to know What are your thought process on maybe where you're not following through? Which part of the journey do you feel like you need some help with? Dive with me in here with some questions, because right now, obviously, this is a bit just ethereal. It's a theory for you right now. How do we turn it into something as actionable steps for you guys? So go ahead, comment down below your questions, and I'd love to give them an answer. And if anyone actually, this is something I do every now and then. If you guys actually want to talk to me about the question, you can actually request to get on this live video with me, and we'll do a quick hot seat where I'll just bring you on. You can ask me a question, and we can do it that way as well. So hit me with your questions, guys. Hit me with your questions, because this is only helpful if we can actually implement it into your business. And so let's get those going. Let's get this going. And I'm actually curious, how many of you, is this the first time you've actually seen a step-by-step process on how someone goes from cold market to hot market? I'm curious if this is the first time you've seen it. Comment that down below, because I'm actually curious how many of you have not seen something like this. So Ali is asking, content for private group versus public group. I know lives are very valuable right now, so making my group valuable, but still doing lives on my public page. Yes, Ali, do lives on your public page, but when you're thinking about like a workshop or something like that for a private group, exclusive group, think of like providing more high-end value. So think of like your marketing in your public place is like attraction marketing, is really getting people kind of sucked in. And then in a private group, think more about actionable value that actually improves their life if they would implement it. So let me know if that makes sense if you have a follow-up question. So Ashley says, I have an email list and a private Facebook group, but my Facebook group is basically dead, so I don't know how to nurture that exclusive group, I guess. Hey, Ashley, totally. So a Facebook group does take time and energy to nurture. So what I'm going to say is choose either one, the Facebook group or the email list, to use as your subscription part. And you just have to be consistently adding value, consistently adding people into it to get it to live and up again. This is something that's happened in my group. Sometimes I've let it kind of go dead for a couple months, and then I kind of have to revive it, get it going again, stuff like that. So let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that. So Joe asks, how do you decide what kind of content you out in the public engagement versus the subscriber stage? Really great question, Joe. So again, this stage is more about figuring out who of your audience is like this is basically, think about this as this content's main objection is to start conversations and get a ton of engagement. The value in the subscription part is really more about providing actionable value that improves the life of the people that are in it, okay? So this is more about getting engagement and starting conversations. This is more about providing real, deep, actionable value. So that's the difference. So Sierra, how do you gauge how much value is enough once you hit that one-on-one spot? So Sierra, it's a little bit of a skill set, to be completely honest. But basically, where you want to get to the place where people, you can sense that they trust you. You can sense that they're really like comfortable with talking with you, and you can sense like that they're engaging with your other content. Like it's a bit of a sense, but you'll get better and better and better at it. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me know if you have any follow-ups to that. So yeah, those are a couple questions there. Most of you had a lot of the same question about the whole different content pieces. And this is a really big thing. Marketing is basically, so I'm actually going to bring this in a different way. The content you create and engagement in the public sphere is all about visibility and starting new connections. So think about content that would help people like your stuff for the first time. Content that's going to get the most visibility on your organic strategies. So it's visibility and initial connection content. And the subscription part is more of the real, like a workshop, like a real value piece, something that will be life-changing to someone. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. Between 1 and 2 and adding 10 to new people doing, if they don't engage with the content, what steps would you advise to take, like direct message them? Amy, that's a great question. I don't like direct messaging people right off the bat. So what I would say is between these two, if you're having trouble, that probably means there's 2 things that could be going wrong, Amy. Number 1, you're not adding the targeted audience actually to your list, because if they were the targeted audience, then their content would be speaking to them. So that's probably the number one problem. The number two problem is if you're adding the right people and they're not engaging, it might be your content you need to think of. You need to get better at getting in your ideal client's mind and think about, okay, what would they actually want? What would get them to laugh? What would get them to be like, oh, that's amazing? What would get them to reach out and click that like button? So it's either one of those. I probably wouldn't direct message them. Sometimes in the rare circumstance, I will say do that just to speed up the process a little bit, but more than likely I wouldn't. So David says, I'll post on Instagram, Facebook pages with some indication of direct live interaction, then have a free public group that brings the members to a place where there's a significant mindset change inside of 1 week. Next is where I present my offer for the sales. Is that too soon? Yeah, David, I would go another step. So when you're selling a higher ticket offer, one-on-one coaching, you want to take it to a one-on-one personalized, customized place where you help them for free before you help them on a paid level. So right now you're doing 2 and 3 kind of in a sense, and those could be things that we could work on and actually improve how you do those as well, because just having them isn't enough. Doing them right is what's necessary, but then having this one-on-one personalized place where you can give them value. So that's something that I would say is just really important to get them to take that next step, because if you go straight from here to sales, you'll close some sales, but your percentage will increase dramatically if you can include this step in there. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So Amy, that was helpful. Awesome. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that. I'm just quickly going to check the time because, okay, awesome. We are doing good for time. So we got 10 more minutes here, guys. And my main aim here in these 10 minutes is to keep providing you guys some value. So shoot me with some more questions. And if all of a sudden you guys have questions on stuff besides this, I'm okay with answering questions that are on the outside of this. But this is really important, because at the end of the day, it's going to take a little bit of time for these systems to work, but they're imperative for your business. Because for instance, if you only now start adding the right people to your audience, and then you now start doing the right kind of content, and then you subscribe them, and then you get them committed in a one-on-one personalized ways, it's going to take a little bit of time to get these systems going and make it moving people through them. But at the end of the day, if you start to implement them consistently in the right way, within a month, you're going to start to have a steady stream of calls, which will then, if you're good at sales, if you have the right sales process, will lead to a steady stream of clients. So it takes a little bit of time to get the systems going, but once they're going, you have the momentum. And this is what the loop method is all about. That we're missing one piece in here, which is like the delivery and fulfillment. But this is basically the loop method. Build your targeted audience, the engagement, subscribe, commit, sales, transform, and we loop it around again. That's the loop method. I'm kind of missing a couple pieces because I didn't want to specifically go into them today, but that's the loop method. So Ashley says, I'm horrible at messaging people, so the people that constantly interact with my content, I'll follow them and then watch their stories and then comment on those things, and it helps me make when you present an offer. Yeah, totally, Ashley. So this is a big thing where what I would do is you can definitely, like in the engage phase, you can see the people that are engaging with your content, but you don't have to like go and sell them something right away. Just tell them that you have something free. You have this free group. You have these free emails. You have these free, this free value that you can give them, and just offer free stuff. Don't even talk about sales stuff. Don't even try to set up a sales call with them through Messenger when you're just seeing their content. Don't try to do that. It doesn't work that well. So get them to subscribe and give them free help them there. Make sure that they're getting value there. Then commit and actually get them some one-on-one personalized value. Provide way more value. I'm gonna say this right now. In 2019, the coaches that provide real actionable, real value without getting paid will then get the higher ticket clients. The people that just message a ton of people trying to set up calls, it's going to get lower and lower and lower and less effective because there's a massive void of value. They don't have any value or rapport built with people. So learn how to do this process, and it'll work way better for you. So hopefully that makes sense. So any other question, guys? We got 5 more minutes. This class has been really, really fun. Hopefully you guys have gotten a ton of different ideas for this, but this is something that I would just say, beg you guys to really actually put into work. And so let me know if you guys have any other questions. If this has been helpful, go ahead and hit the heart button. That would mean the world to me if you guys would like this video. We're going to be doing, as you guys keep asking these questions, I got a couple household things I want to take care of. So every single week at this time, we're going to be doing an impact class. I'm calling them impact classes because I'm all about impact, and it's a class kind of setting. So Brittany says this has been helpful. Awesome. That means the world to me, Brittany. Hope you're doing amazing. And so basically, what was I going to say? So yeah, they're going to be happening every single week. And I have some content planned out for you guys that I see is really lacking and missing in the world. Oh, guys, thanks for the hearts. That means the world. That means the world, guys. Thanks for that. But I also, if you guys have topics or certain kinds of trainings you would want me to teach on these impact classes, I'm more than welcome to get some like feedback from you guys. So let me know. You can post it in the group Aspiring Online Coaches, and you can also you can message me on Facebook and ask for a certain thing. So the last thing I'll say today as a housekeeping rule, and you can still ask questions if you have them, but a housekeeping rule is we actually have a girl in here, her name is Hannah, who we actually have a Facebook engagement group in here that's been not very active. So what Hannah does every single day, I think it's around 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, so 10 Eastern, 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific Standard Time. She posts in here, and you guys can actually do like a like and comment thread for Facebook posts to boost your engagement on Facebook so more of your audience sees it, helping you with the whole visibility piece. So if this is something you're like, hey, I need more visibility on my posts, start to use our engagement group in here. We can get it active again, and we can actually get you a couple more views and a couple more likes from real potential clients by just utilizing it. So if that's something you want to do, definitely make sure you message me. You can understand how it works and all that. So Joe says that this was very, very helpful. Awesome, my man. Hopefully you got a ton of value and just implement this stuff. So anyways, what's the time? Okay, one more minute. If you got any last minute questions, I'll dive into it quickly. And if you don't, that's totally fine. We'll have another class next week. Brittany says, I like your system way better than the old school. It always felt inauthentic and awkward. Mass messaging and conversion was bad. Exactly. It's the new way. There's the new age here, guys. We have new systems. The old systems are getting less effective. Hey, Serena, you are so freaking welcome. I'm glad that this was very helpful for you guys. So, okay. Now this means the world to me. It sounds like a lot of you guys got a ton of value out of this. So one thing I would ask is if you guys have any friends that are coaches that you know are using old school methods that need new school methods, you feel completely free and able to add them to this group, tag them in this video, and the more coaches we can get in here, the better the engagement group can be, the more value we can give each other, the bigger the community, the better. So that being said, guys, I love you all to bits. I hope you guys really enjoyed this training, and we'll be seeing you guys next week. So have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Go watch the new Avengers video, and let's all get psyched up about life, okay? So that being the case, me and Storm, hey Storm, oh, is that a chip you haven't eaten? Yeah, me and Storm say goodbye for now, and we'll chat with you guys later. See you guys.